Hey guys, it's Elena. Today, let's talk about anxiety and how I personally deal with my own type of anxiety, my personal outlook on anxiety while I get ready. Before we get started, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Merit. Merit is a makeup line that basically focuses a lot on minimalism. I've always been a minimalist at heart in my aesthetic. I feel like I'm getting more and more minimalistic. The only thing that I struggle with is definitely over shopping. Oh, it's so bad. As soon as I posted the products that I got from Merit, everyone blew up my DM and just telling me how much they really enjoy the product. They're all about minimalism and enhancing your own beauty, which is so the vibe this 2021 is really accepting who you are. I feel like that's always been the vibe, but it's just been a stronger vibe since everyone kind of had to sit down during the pandemic and recollect. One of the things that I always ask the beauty companies that I work with is if they have any sustainability practices. Their mailer box is 30% post-consumer waste and fully recyclable. They're also cruelty-free, I believe, which is awesome. For the second shipment and onwards, they do ship any green cell foam, which is a cornstarch derivative that dissolves in water and can be composted. Thank you, Merit, for being part of this video today. I'm so excited to be collaborating with them on this video. While I get ready, I am going to show you the products that I use. If you guys want to know more about Merit, I'm going to have their website linked down below. So let's get on with getting ready and talking about anxiety. So for today's makeup, I'm thinking of doing like a really simple natural base and then focusing more on like the lips and eyes to do the talking, if you know what I mean. Anxiety is such a personal thing for everybody. I think it's different and it's personal because of the way we are, how we live, our goals in life, our day-to-day life, our perception, all of that together. It's very rare. It's a very rare configuration. So how we experience and how we handle anxiety is what makes it personal. So the first thing that I'm going to use from Merit is going to be their complexion stick. I'm going to be using two colors, one in camel and one in linen. I'm going to use camel for all over the face where I kind of want to just blur out some dark spots, and then linen will be kind of like my brightener. So with anxiety, I understand that there are more clinical conditions of anxiety and there's one that's more day-to-day, which is something that I experience, the kind of like the general anxiety. That's the one I mostly experience, and that's the one that we are going to focus on today. When I say day-to-day, I don't mean every single day. I also feel like there's a lot of different sources when it comes to anxiety. There's like social anxiety, there's physical and mental anxiety, etc. Anxiety, to me, I definitely label it as an experience, something that kind of greets me. Anxiety shows up in my life when I'm too out of touch in the present moment. Of course, the goal is to realign before I get to a place where I do experience anxiety. But you know, sometimes it's inevitable to have it all together and prevent anxiety. Sometimes, you know, it just happens. Look how easily that blends, by the way. I mean, wow. So I usually get anxious when I deprive myself of certain human necessities, like human interactions, because I do like to work all the time. I always like to keep busy. So I always put off hanging out with people or giving myself time to just like sit back, relax, or do something that I actually want to do with other people. And also I definitely lose control of my mind, which it's just difficult because my mind is so busy. It does go at 100 miles per hour very often. I like to learn new things and I just like to oversaturate my mind. And when I don't take a step back from that, my mind can get very overwhelmed, and usually anxiety are the breaks. Anxiety is the result of me like not giving myself a break and just chilling out. I love learning new things and I love being busy because that's such a big part of my joy, is feeling accomplished throughout my day. That's something that I look for on my day-to-day basis. Throughout the years though, I have had a really good understanding of anxiety for me, and my relationship with anxiety is now seen as something that's a little bit more positive than it is negative, but it doesn't feel good, obviously. So it's something that I cause because of myself. I trigger my own anxiety. I'm going to take full ownership of that. I've actually become friends with my anxiety, even though it's a painful friendship. I used to get angry at my anxiety, but it's kind of like a shifted mindset for me, where I feel like anxiety right now to me is necessary because it's the breaks when I'm going too fast, because sometimes I forget to take care of myself. I literally don't eat for hours. I will probably eat at the end of my work when I feel like I deserve it. To me, food has become something where it's like, do I even deserve to eat if I hadn't worked enough? And that's so ridiculous because like I actually need food to survive. And anxiety is kind of like the rubber band that snaps back at me. So even though this friendship between anxiety and I is like a love-hate relationship, it's kind of necessary for me right now because I don't always have it together. I'm not always 100% right now aware of when I need to take a step back. So it kind of does it for me, even though it's not a good experience because it really sucks and it feels like a freaking lifetime when you're in it. So I'm just gonna use some concealer right here. I think I used too much actually. Whoops. So anxiety can really be felt in so many depths as well. And the better I respond to my anxiety and kind of catch it early before it gets worse or before it actually happens, the quicker that I can recover and go back to feeling good again, because anxiety is something that is more of a buildup for me. Wow, that blended so freaking quickly. I actually used to suck at handling my anxiety before. I was really bad at kind of like managing my own anxiety, but I can confidently now say that through the tips that I will be sharing with you guys, I can handle my anxiety so well now. I know that I'm definitely going about anxiety in a positive, optimistic way, but honestly, it's just how I choose to live my life. I like to see the glass half full. I like to live optimistically and with abundance. But of course, it doesn't feel optimistic when you're in it. My relationship with anxiety would have not been this well developed, I think, if it wasn't for these tips that I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to give you 4 ways that work really well for me on how I deal with my anxiety. So 2 of them is kind of a preventative thing and 4 of them is when you're going through it. So the first thing that I like to do is to beat anxiety before it actually comes. Me being a naturally goer type of person, meaning I have to always do something 24/7. Sometimes I literally have no chill because I can be so intense and working. I can definitely bite more than I can chew, and I don't know when to stop. I don't really have that great of a self-control. So this is just something that I have to deal with and work on. I just overdo it sometimes. And I start to neglect everything else in my life, including people, and most importantly, I neglect myself. When I'm working, a lot of the things that I do is very external. It's very external and I get lost in this external living. And so I'm very out of touch with myself. When I'm out of alignment like that, I start to lose control of my mind and listen to any thought that I have, including the negative thoughts. One of the practices that I like to do is to lessen that distance between me, what I'm doing externally, and what I'm going through internally. So meditation is actually a practice that I like to do to help me balance being present in the moment and doing things externally. When I started to meditate, it becomes easier for me to bring myself back to in alignment throughout the day, especially when I'm working and especially when I need to get things done. So it kind of becomes easier to be aware and productive externally at the same time. So the second thing is to look for the signs before you hit a wall, or the signs that tell you you're about to fall into the pit of anxiety. So in the next few weeks, try your best to be fully aware of yourself and what you're going through. It's about awareness again, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions while you're literally experiencing life, and catch the things that begin to feel off. So I found out the signs that kind of tell me something needs to change or I need to stop in my tracks through just paying attention to what happens before I feel anxious, or when I feel anxious, I ask myself what happened. You know, I kind of dissect the situation, and through me analyzing the situation, I was able to figure out what are the signs that tell me I need to stop or step back. For me personally, it's when I start to get irritated at people for no reason. When things start to like bug you, everything just bugs you, everything annoys you. When I feel like my energy with other people is a little bit lower, usually I can carry conversations no problem, but when I feel like I start to get annoyed at people during conversations, I'm not mentally there. I cannot focus on anything. I can't concentrate when I'm doing work. I'm just not there. I'm kind of blank. That is something that shouldn't be ignored, and that actually, in my opinion, for me, requires immediate action. And going towards whatever recharges you. For me, it's isolation. Being alone recharges me. Being by myself recharges me. that might not be the same for you. Other people recharge by being with other people. I'm gonna move on to blush, and I'm gonna use two colors from Merit. I'm gonna be using Mood and Raspberry Beret. Mood is gonna be more on like the higher parts of my cheekbone around my contour, and Raspberry Beret is gonna be more on like the apples of my cheeks. That's so pretty. Oh, I just put too much. Do you see how pigmented that is too? When I experience anxiety, I love isolating because that's how I recharge, as I said. When I experience that, I really can't give energy to anybody else but myself, even if it's someone I like. My friends know that when I'm going through something, I need to figure it out on my own. I like going for a walk by myself or sitting down and kind of just like allowing myself to feel heard, kind of seeing what I'm going through at the moment, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what's going through my mind. That's so pretty. Do you see that gradient, guys? Another thing that I like to do are breathing exercises. So breath work really helps me a lot. So by breathing deeply and just taking a moment to breathe and hold that in, and that silence where everything stops at the top of the breath, and slowly releasing it, and then that silence and that pause at the end of the breath. Those are such valuable moments for me, and I'm just like, yeah. But it actually scientifically has been proven that breath work really helps tell the nervous system to calm down, that you're safe, and there's nothing wrong, you're all good. Allowing your breath to guide your mood. Everything, man, everything. The next thing that I like to do, which is number 3, is to move my body, whether that's yoga or a form of other exercise. It doesn't have to be intense. It could literally be a walk or a very slow jog. But exercise can really help with muscle tension that contributes to feelings of anxiety or the side effects of anxiety. You're very tense, at least I'm very tense, and it really helps reduce stress hormones as well. And it also can really help stimulate the production of endorphins, which are the natural painkillers that our body actually produces. And it contributes to feelings of relief and happiness. The amount of times where I've felt anxious or I've just felt like a buildup of emotions and I have no idea how to let that out, I will do a workout and I'll feel so much better right after. My camera died. While my camera was dead, I actually did this eye. And I'm gonna do this eye while I'm talking about the 4th tip, which is self-talk. I like to talk to myself, and that is not weird. I promise you guys, there's so many people out there that talk to themselves and just don't want to say it because they think it's weird or it's bad. I talk to myself. I'm a proud self-talker. I actually read this book by Shad Helmstetter called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. It's a great book, I really recommend. But I like to talk to myself or say what I think is basically what it is out loud. I like to journal, and that I think is another way of self-talk. Also, do you see the glow of that blush? I'm actually gonna be using Merit's Perfect Black Mascara for my lashes. It just adds the most perfect amount of mascara in my opinion. This probably has to be one of my new favorite mascaras of all time because it's so soft and it looks so natural, which goes really well with their brand as a whole. It's very natural and easy, quick to use. The last thing that I do is always my lips. I always do my lips last. I'm gonna be using Merit's lip oils. These are so pigmented and so lightweight, so if you don't like the thickness and stickiness of lip glosses, these are gonna be your best friend. They are my best friend. Lip oils are my ultimate best friends. I'm using the colors Sangria and Marrakesh. So I'm going to be using the darker color on the inside, the lighter color on the outside. I hope this video was helpful and kind of a reminder that you're not alone in your anxiety. So many people experience anxiety. I hope you get to find your own way of kind of dealing and preventing your own anxiety. Anxiety has actually stopped me from living life to the fullest in many occasions due to lack of knowledge on my own anxiety and myself. And it took a lot of self-evaluation, general self-evaluation, for me to really figure out what anxiety is to me. If you experience anxiety sometimes, you understand, or often, you understand that anxiety does not feel good. It doesn't feel good. And of course, the less you experience it, it's definitely life-changing. Getting to know my anxiety and kind of having a better relationship with my anxiety overall has definitely changed my life for the better. These are probably my favorite lip products, by the way, of the freaking summer. Before I end talking about how I deal with anxiety, I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope maybe you kind of got a different perspective on anxiety, or maybe you felt heard through my own story of anxiety and through my own perception on anxiety, because maybe you just relate to what I said. Whatever it is, I hope this video brought you some positivity, and I hope, you know, I got to relate with some of you guys. So thank you for watching. I'll show you guys a quick outfit. These are also the shoes. Here's another glance of the fit. Hey, what's up? And then I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.